now is the time to get behind this program. There's never been a better time to get behind this program to make sure that we put ourselves in position to put Missouri State at the forefront of the national landscape of higher education. So I'm excited today. You've heard enough speaking from me. I am excited today to officially welcome your next football coach, Casey Woods.
Appreciate you doing. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you so much. Well, man, that is a nice welcome. Thank you very much. Awesome. Hey, what an honor. What a privilege it is to stand before you here today. You know, this was a speech I've been itching to give for about 2 weeks, and just the nature of this business and the holiday and what it is that we had to endure to get here is we've actually gotten a ton of work done. So we're well ahead of schedule where we want to be. But this is an awesome opportunity, a great day to celebrate this moment for Missouri State, to celebrate for the players, for the other athletes, not just football, but for this community of Springfield and everybody that's had vision for what it is that we're headed. I do want to start by thanking people, right? I want to thank you, Dr. Williams. Thank you for your belief in me. Thank you for having 5 kids, so I'm not the only lunatic that's here, right? I want to thank you, Patrick, man, and your belief in me and my family and what it is that we're going to do here. We are so excited and so humble to be part of this. One of the original things that drew me to this job was the alignment that we had, right? We had Dr. Williams tell our staff yesterday, hey, I want to make this more of a football school than it's ever been. Right? Intentionally stood there and looked, and we're in a place where we got a lot of people moving. There's a lot of new things. There's a lot of levels that we got to push this thing to, but we got a willing leader here that's going to help us there, right? We got Patrick, who's created unbelievable relationships in a very short amount of time. I've gotten to meet some of those, right? We just left the Maroon Roundtable about 2 hours ago, right? Rob flew me up here last night. You know, he was joking on the plane. We brought some gifts for Patrick and Dr. Williams, and he was like, you know, how much can we put on the plane? And I said, do we need to leave the gifts? And I was like, well, which one of the kids? How much weight do you need? I'm kidding, Mia. So, no, it's great. So I want to thank them. I do want to thank my wife, Lauren, right? You're the whole reason that we can do anything that we, yeah. So there's, you know, I do have the ability to set the tempo and the speed in our family, but you are the unquestioned heartbeat of what it is that we do. And I want to thank my kids, man. Waverly, Sawyer, Adeline, Amelia, Savannah, you are my purest joy. And it's such a great, you know, it's such to be in this profession because I grew up in it, man. My first job is to be your husband and your dad, and then we'll transition that over to football. I'd like to thank, I got my in-laws here and my parents here today. I think one of the coolest things that I've ever gotten to do in this profession is hire my dad, right? There's no question who the best football coach in the building is Coach Woods, right? 17 years as a head coach, 10 years as a coordinator at the Power 4 level, is going to come in and pour a ton of experience into us, but the number one thing that he taught me how to do is coach, right? And he taught me how to love kids, and he taught me how to invest in lives past just what was going on in the gridiron and be able to do that. So Dad, Coach Woods, thank you for being here. Mom, thank you for bringing him and allowing him to come. And last of all, hey, thanks to you. Thanks to Missouri State, man. I think that there is an energy here that has exceeded my expectations since I took this job. There's been a welcomeness that has matched my expectation. And I knew no matter what people thought about this job as I was asking around about it in the early stages of the interview process, every single person, whatever they thought about the job, said, man, Springfield is a gem. You're going to love it there. We spent 2 years in Columbia, so we've got some experience down here at Table Rock, Lake of the Ozarks, and some places like that. We know this part of the country. We like being outdoors, and so my kids don't even know this. We got a bag full of fishing poles ready to go today from our group, from the Maroon Roundtable, man, fired up about that. But so there's been a great energy here. There's been a great welcomeness, and there's been an unbelievable willingness to help. right? You have stood up as this community, and one thing that I learned as a coach's kid moving into this, moving from place to place, maybe the best thing that my mom taught me is that every time we moved to a different place, and I lived in 8 different locations before I graduated from high school in Starkville, Mississippi. I didn't tell you that. There's one, Vegas. But one of the best things that we did is, man, we bought a house and we joined a church. And we joined the community, and it was all about being there. And now the nature of this business is going to take us where it goes, but you have our commitment to be a part of this community, and my staff's commitment to come in here and be a part of this community. And so, you know, as you've got an opportunity to meet them and invest in them, the fastest way it is to make our jobs easier is to make our wives' lives and our kids' lives easier, man. Welcome them in. If you've got an apartment for a young coach to live in, if you've got a house, man, let's make sure that we do a great job communicating with them so we can get to work as fast on this job as we do with our families. So really thank you to that. I do think that from a posture of thanksgiving, it would be wrong. I must acknowledge the work that was done here by Coach Petrino and Coach Beard, right? And really all the investors that poured into what it was that they were doing while they were here. I think that they established a real foundation that was here. I think that they instilled a confidence in what we have here as a wonderful product. And they really rekindled a buzz about this place that was there. So I did nothing to earn that, right? That was your investment. That was their investment in this place that has given us a solid rock foundation to stand on. And we're going to push this thing higher and higher and higher, right? But I think it's always important, right, from a posture of Thanksgiving to understand what other people have invested in you to give you an opportunity that maybe you didn't invest in. And so super, I just wanted to acknowledge those guys and everything that we've done. Okay, so now for the vision about what we've got for the Missouri State Bear program, right? And we're going to start big, right? We're big dreamers because I think big dreams honor God. And so we're going to win Conference USA, right? And we're going to win we're going to win the school's first ever bowl game. And we're going to have an opportunity to push. We're going to bring a championship back to Springfield at this level. That's number one. Number two, we're going to recruit this school better than it's ever been recruited before. Okay, we're bringing in a staff with deep SEC ties where they have a great understanding about how the fabric of your organization starts at the ground level from a recruiting standpoint. We're going to start right here within a 3-hour radius of Springfield. We're going to recruit. I think we're in a very unique opportunity because we're 2 hours from Kansas City, 3 from St. Louis, 2.5 from Tulsa, 3 from Little Rock, right? And we're the only G5 school in that entire footprint. So we've got an unbelievable product to sell, right? I told Dr. Williams, because we're going to be the forefront of his advertising campaign for this school. I told Patrick, because we're going to be the forefront of attracting not just football players, but any athletes from the state of Missouri to Missouri State. We're going to enter all 419 schools that play football in the state of Missouri within the next calendar year. Okay, so our commitment is to do that, and here's my promise to you is the work. We're going to invest that. We're going to make sure that we do that. What we need from you is to trust our evaluations, okay? You bring us your players. You bring us your connections. That's wonderful. That's what it is that we want. Ultimately, we've got to make the best decisions for this program moving forward. So whether that is a local kid or whether that is a connection man, we got to make sure that we make the best decisions to go win a championship. So I promise you the work. You promise the trust of evaluations once you bring those to us. Number 3, I want to make Plaster Stadium one of the toughest environments in Conference USA. Okay? Absolutely. And credit to you for already starting that, right? I think it was my very first impression of Missouri State football was when we rolled in here in September. And I was incredibly impressed by the game day atmosphere, by the spunk that was there. It was hot and people were out there and the band was rolling and the student section was rocking. And it was a fun game day environment, right? Several coaches that I've talked to during the interview process was like, man, that's one of the best atmospheres in Conference USA already. So my challenge to you, right, my challenge to the student body who's not here yet, my challenge to the other student athletes on this campus, right, you're going to get a commitment from Missouri State football to show up and attend your events. Right? we want to get a commitment from you to show up and attend our events, because it's going to take all of us to push this thing to where it is that we want to go. Okay? So we got to make Plaster Stadium rocking. We got to get the student section rolling on what it is that we're doing. I know we've had great investment in that already, and lean into that. And then the fourth thing, man, is we want to have an impact, right? I talk about 4 core values that we can get into later. You heard me talk about that posture of Thanksgiving, right? My 5 core values: salvation, loyalty, toughness, hard work, and impact. The whole reason that we get into this business, right, is to have an impact on people. Now, it's going to start with our student athletes, right? Football players is who we'll have the most direct impact on a day-to-day basis, but we're there to impact their lives, right? We want to make sure that we impact the student body, give them the best opportunity, the rest of the athletic department, and what it is that we want to get done there. God, I want to make sure that the athletics cooperatives that are going to be working with us, right? The university landscape and what we want to get done there, right? We want to be at the forefront. If he's shooting for 30,000 students, let's shoot for 35,000 and send us into every school in this state. And so we are ready to make an impact on all that. Also the city of Springfield and all those that have invested in this place already, and that we're going to continue to ask to push your further investment towards. So that's kind of our vision. We want to make sure that we're headed there. Now, how we're going to do it, right? This is our identity. So I've been coaching football, you heard Patrick mention it, for 18 years, okay? In those 18 years, I've coached in 9 championship games, and I've won 6 of them, right? Out of that, out of those 9 conference championship games that I've coached in, they've been in 5 different conferences. So Conference USA, the Sun Belt, the Southeastern Conference, the Atlantic Coast Conference, and the American Conference, right? That's not necessarily a testament to me, but what it is I do know what winning looks like and what championship football looks like. And as you look back through all those 9 championship games that we've been able to put ourselves in, there's 3 things that stand out the most to me, right? The first one is loyalty, okay? First to the people that are involved, right? Because everything else is just bricks and sticks. It's the people that matter the most, right? It's going to start with our families. It's going to start with the student athletes. It's going to start with my staff, but then us investing in the wider university community at large, okay? We want to be loyal to the people, and we want to be loyal to the plan. There's going to be a detailed plan of execution about exactly how we get to the point where we're going to win that championship, where we're going to recruit this state better than it's ever been done before, where we're going to make Plaster Stadium a violent place to come in and play at night, and where we're going to have a chance to make an impact on the community at large, right? So we want to make sure that we're loyal to the people and loyal to the plan. There's toughness, right? Because no matter who you are or what walk of life you've come from, you're going to encounter hard times. You're going to encounter difficult days. You're going to encounter losses, are the most recognizable thing in our industry. But how do you respond to those things? And how we're going to foster that is through an environment of constant competition, man. And we are going to do a great job with meticulous practices. My goals, right, for those of you that are investors that want to come out and watch us practice, that want to come out and see how we do things, that you see the finest college football practice that you've ever seen. The best way to get better at football is to practice football in an efficient manner that pours into old school toughness and modern sports science to make sure we get a combination of exactly what we want to do to execute and win on Saturdays or Wednesdays if we have to in this league. So wherever it shows up, man. And then the third one doesn't need a ton of explanation, right? It's hard work. And there's going to be embedded in that is a relentless pursuit of a competitive edge. So we're going to do that at every level of this program. There's places that are currently deficient in this program that we are trying to invest money, that we're pushing. We got great support from behind me and in front of me right here, but we've got to get our facility moving. We've got to get our nutrition up to par. We've got to make sure that we are hiring and staffing in a way that is conducive to maximum performance on Saturdays. We got to make sure that we do a good job of building a staff that understands what it is that we've got to do on the current state that we're in. And so we want to make sure that through that loyalty, toughness, and hard work that we got a chance to accomplish all 4 of those goals that I set out in front of you. So, here's what I've found here, man, is I have found a people that are hungry to say yes. And that showed up in every question that I've asked. You know, our offices this morning, boy, I know we've been out of, the university's been closed for a couple weeks. We got here last night, had a staff meeting. Our offices weren't exactly where they needed to be. We had facilities showed up at 8 a.m. this morning, and our offices were exactly where they needed to be. We've got an eager group. Melissa, I see you sitting up there. Nice work. Thank you on that. But if we're going to capitalize off of this momentum that we have, right? If we're going to capitalize off of this unbelievable alignment that we have, and if we're going to capitalize off of the recent success that you've all poured in and contributed to, right? Then we need problem solvers. We need problem solvers, not problem pointer outers, right? We need Bear supporters that take a personal responsibility for their role in moving forward towards our dream of winning a championship. Right? And these are the same things that I'm going to ask out of our staff. These are the same things that I'm going to ask out of our players as we move forward. Right? And so in just a week and a half, I believe it is, Patrick, in just a week and a half, we've had $1.2 million contributed to this organization, right? For the vision that we've started and set forth. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. We need another $1.5 million to get started on phase 1 of our facility. Patrick's got phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. You know, as we continue to build this momentum, then we've got to put the product on the field that's going to make sure that we do that. And then it's all of our commitment, it's all our role to make sure that we do this. So, you know, I'll leave you with this, man, and I think that this is important because your job in this matters. Your role in this matters. Your job matters. And your job matters, right? And your job matters. And yours, Coach, matters, right? And you sitting in the back, your job matters too, okay? So it is going to take all of us to win. Everybody in here. It's going to take all of us to recruit, okay? Now, whether that's you're organizing the visit, or whether that's, hey, we've got a player hosted on campus and they get to meet student athletes while they're here, right? It takes all of us to recruit in that. And in modern college football, it takes all of us to create an environment where these student athletes feel at home. So we got to make sure that whatever our commitment level is at that point, man, that you find where is your role embedded in that, right? If you don't know what that is, but you just know that you're ready to do it, then communicate with me, my staff, or these guys' staff, and we'll be ready to go, man. I'm so excited to be your head football coach. I can't wait to get to work. We've got some media, and then we got another staff meeting at 4 o'clock. We've got 35 official visits lined up here before Saturday, and then we start school on Monday. So I'm imploring you, man, join the climb. Go Bears.
All right, just a couple of things before we head out the door here. Let's get a little bit more maroon in this man's wardrobe here. The number 26.
Let's go.
For next football season. Everybody get all the pictures you need. And then just a couple of housekeeping items. One, coaches, staff, and family is going to make their way up